NRL round 4 done and dusted. The New Zealand Warriors get up over the Knights yet again at Go Media Stadium in front of a sold out crowd. Let's take a look how this one played out. Hey team, welcome back into the Warriorholic. Great long weekend there. Boys getting the job done on Sunday. Awesome to see the Cup boys getting the job done as well. Let's take a look how the NRL game played out. So we got it done again, 24-12 this time. Damn, what a hard-fought win that one was. You know, it's a bit of a scrappy game to watch. First time I watched it, it seemed like we were really clunky. We were really struggling. If you go back and watch it again, I think it was just the fact that we had a bit of an unusual game plan, and I thought the Knights really stepped up and took the game to us. So all in all, I'm pretty happy. At the end of the day, it's the 2 points that count. Let's take a quick look through the team stats and see how we got about the win. So first up, initially I think we were around 75% possession in the first 20, but it evened out 49-51. Completion rate, again, we were like 100% there for a long time. It dropped down to 88%. They were at 86. So, you know, that reflects the fact that it was a pretty even game. So I think at the end, to get 20 points to 12 over them with such even possession is a sign that we're doing something pretty well. Looking at the kicking stats there, 23 kicks I think it was from SJ, 2 there from Chanel Harris-Davida, 693 metres. They kicked 28 times, 750. I think that's a reflection of one is their field position in that first half particularly, when they had that big breeze behind them that apparently it seemed to drop off there, but they were getting some massive kicks in there, well out of inside of their own half. Just the one forced dropout this week. It's starting to become a bit less of a common stat now because we know they're just going to get the short kickoffs that are pretty contested. Looking at the attacking stats here, all runs 211 versus 200, pretty even. 1,852 running meters versus 1,688. So a little bit more, a few more runs and a little bit more meters per run there from us. 665 meters post contact. Not bad there, slightly edging them with 648. 4 line breaks for us versus 5, so that's interesting to see. They got 5 line breaks and just managed the 2 tries. That shows that we're covering our line and covering their breaks pretty well this week. Tackle breaks 29 for them and 28 for us. And kick return meters, this is one we don't lose too often. 200 meters in total kick returns for us versus 187 for them. That's including that awesome line break that Kalen Ponga got, stepping a couple of our guys. So looking at the defensive efforts here, 90.89, so basically 91% for us and basically 90 for them, so very similar. 349 tackles made for us, 375 for them. Initially, we had something like 55 more tackles in possession than them in the beginning of the game, so they did well to come back and even it out. 29 missed tackles for us, 28 for them. Seems a lot, but I think that's about par in a game. You know, if you're up defending around 90%, you're doing pretty well. On a good day, you want to get up around 95%, maybe down to around 20 missed tackles. Intercepts, 2 to us. Ineffective tackles, 6 to us, 15 to them. Into the negative plays here, up in the double numbers of errors again, 10 for us after starting out so well in the first half, 8 for them. Penalties conceded, it felt like more, 4 to us, 3 to them. Ruck infringements 2 apiece and 1 inside the 10. Honestly, it felt like we got pinged a lot more, but you know, it can often be the perception in the game. So overall, look, I thought, as I said, the Knights played particularly well, but as anticipated, they were very Kalen Ponga dominated, and he had a great first half. We saw some of those line breaks he got, but he sort of drifted out of the game a bit in the second half, and he's done that a couple of times so far this season, which really pissed me off to see that he got 4 Dalian points off the back of basically achieving bugger all. RTS with 3 for us, SJ with 2. Trying to think who, I think might have been Dallin got the 1 point for us. So pretty disappointing to see that he seems to somehow be one of those guys who attracts the points. Granted, he was in the standout player in his side, but they lost. So Gimps, that's all I can say. A couple of interesting observations for us is that we seem to hit that lead runner all night. I didn't notice one occasion there where we used the 2 lead runners and then got the play out wide, particularly on our right-hand side there, to use that shape. Seemed we were very direct, straight up the middle. I guess you could call it almost boring footy. We brought in a few more offloads this time. I think it was like 10 offloads there. But yeah, just it was a very odd, very odd game plan that kind of made it look clunky in the first half. I think we had a couple of opportunities there. Rocco Berry, his try, or twice he got the ball contesting kicks and just managed to kind of lose it into one of their hands or something. We saw that line break down the side there that we didn't quite get right. So I think we had the ability to put even more points on, and had we scored another couple of tries, maybe it would have felt a bit more dominant, but just those little clunky sort of lack of connections there. I guess losing Metcalf 10 minutes into the game certainly didn't help, but I'll get on to Chanel later. I thought he stepped up really well, but in the end, we won by 8 points. It was a comfortable win. Yeah, I don't think I ever felt like they were really going to come back and beat us, but it wasn't that comfortable. You think, oh, they're out of the game. So, they were kind of in it the whole way through. I would have liked to put on an extra couple of tries in the first half to really take them out of the game. And I hope that's something we can start to get better at. I think that in a team like Souths, they came in last time against us off the back of a couple of losses, and we thought we'd walk all over them. They just played a really boring game against us and just drove it straight up the guts in that shitty weather last year and beat us. So I think we have to be more clinical against them. They've got a little bit more sort of attack across the park there, even though they've got a bunch of errors, a bunch of injuries. So we shall see. Anyway, we'll take the 2 points and run. Let's get into the individuals. RTS at the back. A lot of people have been calling for this. Aussie media going nuts, losing their minds, saying that RTS should stay there. But in the post-game presser, Webby tripled down. He just said there's no way. Roger is our centre. So seeing K will come back in this week. But in his run at fullback here, what do we get? 80 minutes, 29 runs, 284 metres, 86 post contact, about 12 ankles broken with those steps. 7 tackle breaks, 2 offloads, just the 1 tackle, and he missed 4 tackles. So his defense wasn't exactly outstanding there, and 2 errors. So I gave him 8.5. Some people saying that was a 10, that was awesome. But I think when you just focus on the X factor moments, the big steps and so forth, the running meters, it's easy to get a bit carried away. But making 1 out of 5 tackles is not a great effort there, and he basically dropped that sitter that I don't think Tane would have dropped. He's been really solid under the high ball, so there's still things that he can improve on, hence I've given him the 8.5, but I would have thought he was worthy of just as many, if not more, Dally M points than old mate Ponga there, considering we won. But hey, look to him to go back to left centre this week, which is a bit of a disappointment for Pompey. I'll get on to him in a moment, but I think we've really got to try and figure out a way to get RTS more space on that left-hand side there. We can see what he can do with 10, 15 metres between him and the attackers. He can make them look stupid, but getting so lateral, as I've said a bunch of times on that left-hand side, he's getting ball with defenders right on him, and it's very difficult to step one and then make a break when you've got 2 others right beside them there. We shall see. Anyway, solid game from the big fella. Great to have him as cover there. Onto the left wing, Dallin Watene-Zelezniak, 80 minutes, 17 runs, 198 metres. Man, he's making some effort on those runs, and he injured his leg. Yeah, I think it was early in the second half. Not 100% sure what he did there, but he's limping for a while. Webby mentioned it in the post-game there. They thought they might have had to take him off for a while there, so well done to him making those metres, playing through that pain. You see him just hit that line with full acceleration, get smashed on his ass, get up smiling and come back and do it again and again. 8 tackles at 100%. Really happy to see his defense is getting a lot better this year. 1 offload, 1 tackle break, 1 penalty conceded. So I've given him an 8. I felt like I could have given him an 8.5 because he didn't really do anything wrong. He was very, very solid, but just missing a little bit on attack there. I think just, a little bit wasted using him as a batting ram, and it's not necessarily down to him. So we shall see. I think there's 20% left in the brother. I'm looking forward to a couple of try doubles at some point here. as he continues to progress and we use him a little bit better. Hope that leg's all right for this weekend, bro. Rocco Berry at centre. 80 minutes again, 10 runs, 94 metres. It was interesting, like when I first reviewed the metres, they only had him down for about 70. I thought that was a bit disappointing because he's been up over the 100 recently, but 94 there with 41 post-contact metres. So I've noticed that definite increase in aggression when he hits the line and the pumping of the legs there compared to last season. 2.78 play of the ball speed, so the fastest out of all the team there. So I thought that was worth noting, that he does get that ball out really quickly, even faster than Montoya. 23 tackles there at 88%, 2 missed. Again, I think he might have been the ones that Ponga got, one of the guys that Ponga got past there on that big run he did. 2 errors there. It's a frustration because those errors are, you know, they're costing us tries, but, you know, the try for that attempt at that high ball that he got down onto the line, you know, I think it was he got the other error for that pass back inside off the try. No, he wouldn't have got that because Sean had been pulled up for the forward pass. I think it might have been the second contestable kick, yeah, but that one that he muffed the pass back inside after we got pulled back for the Sean Johnson forward pass. That was another bit of a shame there, but he'll get it. You know, I think he was, you know, very, very solid. You know, again, one of our best players out there, and that was reflected in the, you know, the Aussie commentators constantly talking about how well him and Bradman Best had sort of played against each other there. So keep it up, brother, cementing that spot. Adam Pompey, man, I'm proud of this boy. Some players could have got all pissed off and kicked stones. He hasn't played a lot of footy. He didn't play his best footy in Cup last week, but it just goes to show when you come up into the top league and you're surrounded by top quality players, your level lifts as well. 80 minutes, 17 runs, 154 metres, 62 post contact. So that's way up on what he was doing last year. 18 tackles at 100%, 2 tackle breaks, just the 1 error. Overall, I thought he was outstanding. You couldn't ask much more for a guy coming back in there. So it was interesting. I saw again before Luke went off that it had got really lateral there. And then once CNT came on, a lot of the play didn't really come to the left. So we didn't get to see a lot of what Adam could do with his distribution skills. But overall, I had to give him an 8 out of 10. I couldn't have expected much more from a guy coming back in off the back of that disappointment of being dropped after the outstanding year he had last year. On the left wing, Marcelo Montoya, 80 minutes, 21 runs, 156 metres. I had to watch this again. Why Dallon's getting more metres. At the end, I think it's off the back of Marcelo taking the first hit up. He bends the line a bit there, draws the defenders in, gets a quick play of the ball away, and he's got momentum before Dallon hits it. So that's probably a reason. Still the 156 metres, 47 post contact. Disappointing for me, 4 tackles at 67% with 2 misses there. Yeah, a couple of misreads coming flying in again. 1 line break though, 1 error and 1 try. I gave him 8 because of those missed tackles. I think we've got to get that timing a little bit better. Still got to trust those guys inside him there, but still a really solid effort. Interesting to hear him talking to the boys on SEN yesterday. Man, he's a very well-spoken guy. Gives some really clear and logical thoughts there. Mentioned that he'd very much love to win a comp with the boys this year, and then if they moved him on, he'd be comfortable with that, you know, freeing up his spot for someone younger. So it'd be interesting to see if we do renew him, even if we don't win a comp. Luke Metcalf, just the 10 minutes. Poor man. I haven't seen any official reports, but, you know, cracked or broken bone there in the shin. I'm not sure which one it is. One could mean up to 6 weeks. The other one could mean up to 10 weeks. Poor bugger. Man, absolutely no luck. Certainly was starting to find his feet there, but this will start to give someone else a chance there. Man, hope he comes back and is given a chance to get fully fit when we don't see him rush back in like we saw with Tamati Martin, who was a bit short of gas when he came back from his last time. So keep well, brother. Hope the boys get around you and support you. Sean Johnson. It's interesting with SJ. He seems to be playing a little bit more within himself this year. And he hasn't, when you've asked people man of the match, no one's sort of screaming out SJ like he was taking the points every week last year when we won. But 80 minutes, 16 runs, 77 metres, 21 kicks for 624 metres, 23 tackles at 85%, 3 missed. Always big tackles, man. He just steps up there. 1 tackle break, 2 line break assists, 1 try assist, 1 penalty against him. I think it's 8.5, like he's not doing anything wrong. But even kicked again and kicked bloody well. The goal kicks, that is. I'm just not sure why we're playing that more direct, simple game plan. But even in that the ball to Jackson Ford was an absolute pearl. So I've given him an 8.5. I don't think he's quite up there at a 9 or 9.5 yet. Still a bit of magic left in him. But, it just goes to show that when the team are playing well, not one player necessarily stands out. And I think last year it seemed like we were really reliant on him. And I think Wade Egan coming back and also takes a bit of pressure off there. I don't know. But certainly wouldn't want to lose him. That's for bloody sure. With particularly with our bro Metcalf out for a while. Adam Fanua-Blake, very odd. Talking to a mate and he mentioned it might be a rib issue. Just with the 44 minutes this week, down from 48 last week, 17 runs, 140 metres, 55 post contact, just 14 tackles. He's normally up around the 30. 93%, 1 missed tackle, 2 tackle breaks, 1 offload. I gave him a 7.5 because I just felt he was quiet. I don't know whether it's an injury he's suffering from that's limiting his minutes or whatever. I saw him in the team song that Cam George posted on Instagram there, and he just basically stood there and sort of looked around. He didn't sing with the boys. He looked angry. He looked very, I don't know, didn't look happy. And I don't feel like he looked that happy out on the field. So if he's got a rib injury that he's playing through, that would really explain that. But I just hope he is, not getting too frustrated about something. Maybe the limited minutes there, because he was up around, like I said, the 70-minute mark last year. Keep it up, brother. I think 7.5, you still stood out. Probably close to the best prop on the ground, but hopefully it's not an injury that's hindering those big minutes and the big smile on the face there. Wade Egan, he would have been close to my man of the match, coming back off the back of that injury with no game time, playing 80 minutes. 5 runs, 74 metres, big difference to what we'd seen from Freddie. He was only getting around 10 or 12 metres. 41 tackles at 100%, 2 tackle breaks, 2 line break assists, 1 try assist. That really made me smile, that ability to break that line, get that past to Chanel. It's something I've always been a little bit critical of, as he gets the breaks, but he hasn't really linked up. But I saw a couple of times on the weekend there, he made the break and he got the pass away. Maybe that's a good sign that CHT is running a good line off him there. I'd really like to see that continue, because he gets a lot of breaks, but just dying with the ball. But get that one pass away, and that really makes a massive difference. Another 20 metres or so, or the difference between him dying with the ball or a try. So couldn't have asked for more from him in the weekend. I just thought he's absolutely outstanding. There's not much more you could ask for a hooker. Just shows that he's just got so much impact on the flow of our game, getting our forwards going forward. So thanks, bro. Very happy with that effort, and we hope that you stay healthy. Hope that you can deliver that through every week for the rest of the season without coming up with too many other injuries. Prop Mitch Bunyan, I thought he was outstanding again. 56 minutes, so more than AFB. Must be a sign that the big bro's got an injury there. 18 runs, 178 metres, 72 post contact, 34 tackles at 96%, 1 missed, 3 offloads and 1 error. Like, I thought he really stood up again. He's just really looked like a pack leader this year. Again, I couldn't ask for much more from him. But I feel like he's just got that big, massive game coming in him at some point where he just absolutely dominates, runs for 200 metres and probably gets a couple of tries. So I've left them with an 8 there, allowing a bit of room there for that big massive game coming up soon. But really happy with what he delivered. Jackson Ford, again, almost playing to the peak of his potential. 80 minutes, 14 runs, 139 metres. Again, well up over what he was averaging last year, 46 post-contact metres. While his post-contact metres might not seem as big as some others, shit, he takes some of those hits right on our line there where he's just running into 3 or 4 tacklers. Maybe we've had a couple of backs hit it up and we still haven't made it out of a 20. You know, he's the guy that's going to take that real hard out hit up there. 40 tackles at 89%. 1 try, 1 line break, 4 tackle breaks. No errors this week. Again, so that's 2 weeks in a row without dropping a ball. So I hope people start to recognise that. And just the workload of this guy. Having 2 edges that play 80 minutes is a massive bonus for us, being able to use all of our rotation in the middle. So for a guy his age and his experience, shit, I don't think I could have asked for much more from him. So I've given him an 8.5. Kurt Capewell, 80 minutes, 8 runs, 73 metres, 32 post-contact metres, but 48 tackles at 84%. There was 6 miss, 2 tackle breaks, 1 line break, 1 offload, 1 error and a penalty. Not quite at the same level he delivered against the Sharks, but a definite step up over the past couple of weeks. It's interesting, like he's never been one to run big meters. I felt like he had a couple of breaks that would have given him more than that. And he does take some of those tough hits, but shit, he got through some work on defense, his kick chase, his scramble. I think he's perfectly suited. Him and Jackson actually are perfectly suited for battles like that where it's just a real genuine grind. So yeah, I gave him a solid 8 there. Again, I still think going back to that Sharks game, there's a little bit more left in him, so got to leave him room to improve to give him that 9 or the 10 when he has a real big game. Tohu Harris, 68 minutes. Good to see him get a break this week after a couple of 80-minute runs there. 19 runs for 148 metres, 54 post contact. So he ran for about another 20 or 30 metres more than he ran last week, actually, playing the 80 minutes with a different role he played, but still 42 tackles, 96%, just the 1 miss. Good to see him get an offload as well. Gave him 8.5 as well. I mean, it's bloody difficult, you know, because I felt as a team we had a lot more that we could have delivered. But individually, when you look at people, what they did, particularly related to their core roles, it's kind of hard to take it away from him. I couldn't, expect a huge amount more. I think there's those games where you'll just see him dominate. He'll get 200 meters and make 50 tackles. So again, I allow for a little bit of when he has one of those big games there with giving him the 8.5. Now, what did disappoint me a bit, and I don't know if this is the momentum of the game or what, but our 3 bench forwards really struggled to have a serious impact, particularly on offense. I think Marata here coming in for his first game back, 25 minutes, 3 runs, 27 metres, 13 post contact. Very similar to what Bunty delivered last week that I was very critical of. In fact, all 3 of our forward bench had the similar numbers there. 17 tackles at 95%. Some of those were massive whacks. So he really led our line speed there, which made me feel his presence. But I just think we lost momentum in the game when our bench forwards came on. So I kind of felt like the 3 of them struggled to really get into the game in offense. So I couldn't give him more than 6.5. I think he would have liked to have had a bigger impact, but just seeing that aggression and defense showed me what he can offer if we can just get that offense flowing as well, with a few more than 3 runs there. But that will come with time. He must have had struggled to do the fitness work as well on a broken foot recently. Jazz with very similar numbers with the 23 minutes, 4 runs, 38 metres, 18 post contacts, just 13 tackles, quite a few down from him, 93%, 1 missed tackle. Not sure. I don't feel like he played a bad game either, similar to Marata, but just struggled to get that impact going. One aspect of this, I guess, I don't know, sitting there trying to find answers as to why these guys didn't get as many runs and meters Our back five, their ability to hit the ball up 1, 2, 3, 4 hits one after the other. There's probably a fair reason as to why these guys weren't running. So we were defending a lot or in our own half. Generally, you'll see our forwards having more hit-ups once we get close to our own half or over their own half, but our backs are taking all of those dirty hits to get them up to halfway, which may be why. Maybe it's just the flow of the game, I'm not sure, but, would have liked to see more from the big fella there. And Bunty, again, 24 minutes, 4 runs, 34 metres, 18 post contact, 19 tackles from him at 95%, so I made the most tackle out of those three with the one miss, but I got a 6.5. Again, all three of them struggled to really get into the game. I called Bunty out on that last week, saying it wasn't really an NRL level performance. But shit, I guess that's just how the game flows at times. Their middles, I thought, stepped up really well, particularly their bench. You didn't notice that big drop-off when the Saifidis went off that we saw when we lost, or AFB and Mitch Barnett went off. So, I don't know, just the flow of a game. Maybe it's the way we're using them, and that's why it's always interesting as an amateur trying to assess and see what Webby sees in certain players or why he's doing certain things, because it seemed odd to me we weren't using our double lead runners. It seems odd to me the bench rotation at certain times. I didn't hear any complaints from him and his presser, so we just have to accept that we don't always know as much as we think we know about this game. So I'd like to see more from those three next week, though. Every chance Jazz drops off the bench, so if Dylan Walker does come back. Chanel Harris-Tavita coming on after just 10 minutes there, off the back of just about 20 minutes of footy in the first couple of weeks there. I thought he stepped up outstandingly. I've always thought he is a genuine half. I feel like he's more of a future 7 than Metcalf, just because his ability to control a game is calmness. And I think we really saw that on Saturday night. 4 runs for 32 metres, 2 kicks for 38, but one of them, SJ gets caught up on the fourth, flick it out to him, to CHT, pinpoint kick there, landing right on the try line. Montoya takes it, try. Running off that shoulder there in the support play to get the try off the back of Egan, which was pretty lucky. Wasn't looking over his left-hand shoulder as he's smiling and almost got a hit from behind. 2 missed tackles, but 22 made at 88%, and that's some big tackles, man. He goes into that defense with some serious aggression, offensive defense. Like I said, the one try assist, and a penalty. I gave him 8. I could have probably given him more than that based on what you could really expect from a guy who haven't been out of footy for so long. So I was really proud of what he did. Now, the question for me is, next week, what does Webby do with the bench? Does he start Chanel, or does he bring Tamati Martin into the starting lineup and leave Chanel in this kind of 14 role here? Likely to see Dylan Walker come back in. So if that happens, my guess is that you may see Dylan Walker at 14, Bunty, Marata, Niakore, and Lussick, or seeing CHT on the bench. Probably, I don't know, I'd prefer to see CHT. I think he's just as good in that impact hooker role, but he also covers a heck of a lot of positions. But if he starts, then you'll probably see Lussick come in, having Dylan Walker there able to cover a few positions in the back. So a few interesting questions there. I thought Tom Ale had a really good game in Cup, showed that he's probably a little bit too good for Cup, making meters with ease there, standing in tackles, multiple sort of tackles there, getting offloads away. Zion Ma'u still struggling for me. I think he's got to get his fitness up a bit before he's a genuine first grade option, which is a bit disappointing because I think a lot of people are really excited about him. But I don't know, the fitness just isn't quite there, so I'd definitely be going for Ali before him. And I also thought Tanner Stowler-Smith has been playing some very solid footy there as well, who could be a genuine bench option. Seems to have put on about 3 or 4 kgs of muscle in the off-season, that he looks like a very big boy out there now. Actually remind me of Martin Bella last week playing without the headgear. Another player I'd like to shout out is Ben Farr there with a couple of tries, just showing his X factor there when he does play at fullback. Man, he's got some acceleration through contact and some really big hits on defence. I thought Ali Leotoa was a little bit quiet again. Setu too, outstanding there. He's Mr. Consistent, that boy. Gets through a lot of work. Tamati Martin had a solid game. Young fella there, his name escapes me, the hooker coming up from SG Ball, getting his debut. He was very capable. I think he's a genuine prospect for the future there. So overall, yeah, I think it's good to see the depth is still stepping up there. I'm happy, content. Curious to see what team gets named today. I would imagine the starting lineup, other than whoever comes in at 5/8, will be the same. I don't think we had any injuries there, other than Metcalf and Dallin sort of leg. But considering he played on the next 30-odd minutes after he did that, I think he should be good to go. Up against South there with a few injuries. No Shaq, no Jairo, Alex Johnson, a couple of others out there. But they've still got plenty of talent there with Latrell at the back and Cody Walker, Jake Whiten and so forth. So we'll have to be careful, but I'm hoping we're going to be close to full strength for this one. Let me know what you think in the comments, team. Who was your man of the match? Who do you think we might have needed to see more out of? Or what would you like to see done with the six this week? Who would you like to be starting? Who off the bench? Up the Mighty Warriors. I'll be back again later today with hopefully a bit of a Team Naming Tuesday preview. Let's go. 2024, onwards and upwards, 50-50 win ratio. We're going to go ahead this week and head into that 8.